Everyone, we are locked and loaded on to the game number 2 between Mingos and Kent State University. This one is a barner. It's a barner.
This one's a barner.
It's just a barner. It's a barn burner and a banger here. We have Mingos coming out on top from game number 1 with some backdoor action that I haven't seen in a long time.
I haven't seen that in competitive play in a very long time. Hey, and you know I love to see it. I love to see things getting shaken up. I love those level 1 plays. I love the backdoor plays. I'm trying to see some crazy shit in these games, guys.
Most definitely. And we have Kent State battling to stay alive in this series. They want to pull ahead as one of the top 4 teams in this league, but at a 3-2 record, if they lose this series here, they'll be at 3-3. They'll be right in that middle pack and possibly have to play a tiebreaker to fight for their spot in top 4. Whereas Mingos, if there was a Cinderella story, a comeback story in this league, it would be Mingos, who started at something like 0-6 in this league, but are putting together win after win, and they need this dub here to even stay alive and have hopes in the League Saturday series.
Hey, I believe. Like I said, we've seen them perform extremely well in a lot of their games, but they've had struggle to close them out. And we kind of talked about this before we even started up the broadcast today. And we kind of talked about, when you talk about a game like League of Legends and you're talking about amateur teams, potentially Mingos is just a group of guys getting together to play these tournaments online. They're high-level players. And sometimes when you get together and you play with your friends, you get in a scenario where, you start to have fun, you start to loosen up, and you kind of lose track, or you lose focus of what your goal is when you're having fun, and those are times where you can let these games slip. And maybe that's what we've seen happen with Mingo so far, is we see these players playing extremely well. They start to get a little too comfortable, and they let it slip against these teams who are here to win.
Oh, yeah.
And they lose out on games that they should have closed out for the victory. So, this week, maybe we're going to see them kind of tighten things up and close out these games where they really played phenomenally. Like last game, they played their comp to its strengths, and it ended up working out really well for them. And now, as we get into game 2 here, we see kind of the same thing happening. KSU here, the bot lane, Condurex and Starpone are coming out aggressive, taking some good trades against Mingos here in the bot lane. And we'll see how that plays out. But I think this Condurex Starponer, they are on some very comfortable picks for themselves right now.
Most definitely. And the the Samira Rel level 2 rush can be deadly. So the fact that Mingos got through that alive is pretty good. Not having to use any sums, but having to use all of their consumables here puts Kent State in a pretty good position. And yeah, we just see the strengths of these duos that Kent State are pulling out, getting advantages in the early game in bot lane. It's all about transitioning those into a game win. And we see junglers pathing away from each other. This is definitely good for, I think, Malphite, who cannot really fight in the river till he has 6. At least fight that well. So trading crabs would be good for him. Let's see where Heckram goes after this crab. He could go his grump, he could go top, he could go through mid and look for a double crab. Or lastly, he could invade the red side of the delivery man, which will be respawning shortly.
So not too far behind in farm, but Heckram making his way into Malphite's top side to see if he can scrounge anything up here. But it looks like all the camps are down. So unfortunately for him, not going to be able to pick anything up, but maybe he can get some good vision down here and suss out Malphite later on to be able to make a play, maybe on bot side when he spots him top or etc. But now they're matched in farm. I thought maybe that was Heckram's chance to kind of get ahead, but with no camps up.
He could go take Krugs too from the Malphite here. You see this big push from oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. The big push from Nathaniel means that Heckram could be taking Malphite's second set of Krugs, and that's actually where his lead would start.
Yeah, they just came up, and looks like someone's pinging the Krugs now. Maybe it's Malphite pinging, hey, Heckram might be here.
It could
Maybe
be.
he wants Musinator to check it out, but not really having a chance here, trying to keep his wave set up well for himself.
And so far, so good for Delivery Man on this Malphite. Able to full clear, get Crab, recall, and go get his Krugs too. That is all according to plan on this champion, because you kind of want to avoid skirmishes until you get your 6, as we've been talking about. So instead of showing up to dead Krugs and a farm disadvantage, the Delivery Man able to take his Krugs too and continue another full clear. My eyes will be on Heckram. He could
Definitely.
visit bot lane here. They do have a ward and Tribrush, but he is a fast boy and he's going river. He'll
Yeah.
have to pass through Scuttle Crab Vision, and he is going to look for an invade.
So we saw, I'm going to assume the pings that we saw on the minimap were from Malphite, but Malphite was pinging out enemy Raptors Hecarim was on them. So doing a pretty good job of keeping track of this Hecarim, but now losing his bot or his blue side camps. So let's see what he does here. If he makes his way into that quadrant of the jungle, he's going to be in trouble, but potentially he could do a... okay, he's not going to go. I was going to say maybe he could go into Mingo's blue side, but he's going to go and find out that his camps are gone.
Yeah, he's going to come across Dead Wolves. He might look to go to his Gromp, but what Hecarim and the bot lane from Mingos has done is they were on a bounce themselves, so they're pushing a double wave into red side where it could not be contested by the Samira Rel. So it's going to result in Drake number 1 going over to Mingos here as it does fall. And so you're not down in camps as Malphite, but you are down that first Drake. But giving away first Drake because your bot lane has a push is pretty common thing to do in the early game. So Malphite, not too worried about Drake 1 because he is still level 5. He needs that 6 above all else.
Yeah. So still tied up in farm with this Hecarim though. So like you said, a really great start for Malphite here. I think we both expected him to get much further behind, but he's doing pretty well for himself. And I think he's in a good position. Hecarim not doing too much across the map before Malphite gets 6. Hecarim obviously looking to get his 6 as well. So.
And I think this is the slow start we were kind of expecting when we saw last game's jungle matchup. It's actually happening this game. Kent State does not want action anywhere other than probably this 2v2 until Malphite gets 6. So a really slow early game start. Bit different than last game. Which team does this give the advantage to? You can talk about scaling. It's kind of Samira versus all in that regard. You could talk about who has the better split, the better 1-3-1. That could also be Kent State, if I'm not mistaken. But here's the 2v2 we were talking about. When Rel goes in and CCs you, Rascal Dog with a nice bot back. But, ooh, so what happened there? Starponer looked to W. Oh, Condrax going back in. They're looking for the lethal onto the Zaya because she doesn't have her E to pull in. But a good knock-up from the Alistar. Can he trade kills? The ulti comes out from Starponer, but it's not enough. They will trade 1-for-1. But it's the AD dropping, and meanwhile, the delivery man gets his sticks. He pulls up mid, and what do we have going on top lane? It looks like Musinator could do this. Nice sidestep away from Nathaniel
you need to get away from this.
Does Dead Scion do it here? I don't think so. The E comes out to protect him, and we see a solo kill in the top lane for Musinator here for Kent State. That's pretty huge. We also saw a mid gank by delivery man turning the tides of that lane. And a 1-for-1 trade where Samira is going to pick up a kill and Zaya does not. So Kent State with a nice series of action here in the mid game. As soon as Malphite hit 6, we saw some plays happening.
Yeah, definitely. That was plays across the map here, looking good for Kent State University. 1-4 in kills, up about 2K gold. So they need to look out for this next Drake. If they can secure this next Drake, they're looking pretty good as far as objective and kill pressure goes in this game so far. But let's take a look at farm here. So still pretty closely matched up all across the board for CS. We see Adam
2v1 here. Musinator with no ultimate here. He finds himself being ganked by Adam. I don't think he can win this 2v1, but Mordekaiser can heal, he can shield. It's just not enough. Adam Suki with a nice pickup here, punishing the flashless and ulti-less Mordekaiser in the top lane as we see Rascal Dog with an engage, answered by Conor X. They'll stun up the Alistar. He pop ulti. Not sure what will come out of this, but Malphite, it's the delivery man around the corner. He does not have ulti for probably 10 more seconds.
Yeah, spotted on a pink though. I'm going to clear some of this vision and just leave. Will he come back with ulti, though, and look for a play bot side now that he's cleared a vision?
He could go mid. It's so easy to go mid on that Seraphine with no cleanse. That could be where his next gank goes. I wouldn't be surprised if he just is revisiting mid.
Just set it up with a claw stun from Lysandra, and then it's a free ulti.
Toast.
Yeah.
She's toast in that scenario, so we'll have to see.
We see him making his way here. I think we can go ahead and maybe say hasta la vista to Nick here because there's no way he's making it out of this one alive.
We see the ulti flash, pretty decent effort by Nick, but without cleanse, you just die there every single time. We called it out. They probably knew that in Champ Select going in. We'll see if a 2v2 erupts here. But I gotta shout out Kent State as they get ahead early in this game. Obviously, Mingo's not out. They came back last game, but some of the draft tricks we saw try in game 2, you leave the Malphite out there hanging for the Scion counter pick, and then you answer it with Mordekaiser. You still have Malphite who can combo well with the Lissandra, and your Mordekaiser is getting solo kills in the top lane. So some of those draft adjustments and tricks we saw coming out of Kent State actually proving to be effective in the game, and you love to see that in these best of threes.
Love to see it. So I didn't even realize that, but Hecarim does have Herald there. I did miss when they grabbed that. It must have been focused on a fight. Maybe that was during the play that they made on Seraphine in the mid lane. Meanwhile, Hecarim was taking the Herald, but I did miss it, so we do need to look out for that. Where does he look to drop this? Definitely wants to get it down soon so they can get the gold from the plates before it runs out. He's heading towards mid or bot side river, so maybe they want to look at this dragon. I'm not really sure. Do you want to drop the Herald before you look for the dragon? Do you want to drop the Herald and then go to dragon with it? I don't know necessarily what's the best option to play, but it looks like maybe he's going to start dragon here.
Yeah, starting Drake with Herald in his pocket, so kind of splitting the difference here, and it will be cued by the delivery man. Here comes the combo onto the Seraphine. She just can't walk there with Kenny around. Beautiful setup by Kent State. It's going to be answered here by Rascal Dog a bit, but that's their Hecarim dropping as well. Alistar in the mix. His ulti's going to wear off soon. Nathaniel Lanier is here, but Kent State has numbers. Moosinator doing his job too. And it's Starponer picking up the Zaya. Can he look for a 2? This would be terrible news for Mingos. That's a double kill. Can you give Samir the triple, or is that Scion dead already? He's not. He's alive. That's an ace. Last kill picked up by Moosinator on Mordekaiser. And because of the Seraphine, the no cleanse, the immobility, and Kenny's spot-on playmaking, Kent State will take Drake number 2 and even that up.
That was such a clean execution there for Kent State, taking down 5 members for none, as well as getting the dragon. Just really, really well played out. Starponer able to pick up 2 kills there, looking really strong now. I think that was really, really bad for Mingos, but I don't think it's the nail in the coffin yet. They can still come back in this game, but they need to play very cautiously. They need to take the plays that are guaranteed for them and not really risk it anymore because it's hard to say. It's just that right now you do not want this team to continue to scale into this game. If you keep giving them the advantages, I think you're going to seal your fate here. So I think you need to play it safe, scale up, play around the Zaya into the late game. Oh, no.
Look at that rel action from Conrex, finding the play out of the brush and feeding a kill right into Starponer on the Samira, who has finished Shield Bow, and if she gets an accelerated collector, it's bad news for Mingos here. So another heads-up play by Conrex. Him and Kenny with the playmakers here with the delivery man with that hugely impactful ultimate, setting up a Kent State win and a game 3 if they can continue the pressure. And now that Herald goes down, it reminds me it was great that you called out, hey, they have Herald, how are they going to use it? And here comes the Malphite ulti into the Lissandra root. The Lissandra ulti charm goes wide, and that is just a dead Seraphine again.
Under the tower. It's so guaranteed at this point that if they both have ulti, what can you do? You can't do anything as Seraphine there. Like you said, without the cleanse, it's just mid lane is a death trap at this point.
It absolutely is. You need to have Hecarim ready to 2v2, and you kind of have to have Flash on the Seraphine to even consider an outplay. And when those 2 conditions are not met, it's just free food for Kent State as they advance into this mid game. But yeah, what I was saying is you could have maybe looked to have a more creative Drake start with the Herald try, but I'm not sure how much we'll be able to get into that because Conrex is still hunting. I believe they had vision on him. And he will get bopped away. So Rascal Dog, good job. You need to do that every time. That's part of why you pick Alistar into rail. Alistar has multiple options of modes he could play. He could play disengage or engage. So it's not too bad of a matchup. But we see a 2v1 in the top lane. Nathaniel Lanier, he's going to flash. He's going to try and ulti away. And that would have had to been Delivery Man's flash to secure that kill. He did not have it up, no dice. But pressure kind of everywhere from Kent State.
What is the Samira ability called that she spins around and blocks projectiles? Do you know the name of it?
No.
Me neither.
It's W, I know that.
Yeah, it's W. I was going to say using it really well there to block the E from hitting a stun on her. Just a good use of ability usage.
It's hard to react to those Zaya feathers. If you pull that off, that's a nice 2-for-1 on the ability, and that can turn fights just
because you never know. She can activate it immediately. They could stall it out. Like it does have a small cast time, but you can mix it up.
Yeah.
So it's not that easy to read. So you have to have really good reaction time.
Definitely, as we see a possible 3v3 action. Could be a 4v4 soon, as Adam, Suki, and Heckram kind of looking, but Kent State members seem to be aware. And is Kent State just going to group for this Drake? It's a question we ask pretty much every game, and it comes down to it more often than not. Looking at TPs in the top lane, both are down for probably, 30 seconds, if I had to guess. And will be up for Drake. So we could see our first 5v5, which would be heavily Kent State favored, and I would not blame Mingos if they wanted to give that and look to trade away on the map. Looking at junglers here, Heckram on the bottom side of the map, Malphite crossing over on that side as well. So Drake within a minute spawning, members are showing up to get vision here. We see this 3-man unit, pretty deadly from Kent State.
Yeah, we have no TP. Well, I don't know the exact time, but I think TPs for both top laners are going to be up as the dragon spawns. So we might see another 5v5 here over this Drake. It is Infernal Drake, so I know both teams do want to get their hands on this. And it looks like KSU already setting up for something a little cheesy.
Yeah.
They might catch the Alistar here. Oh, he does have...
Oh, we'll look for the rel engage on the Alistar. He will immediately ult and flash. So 2 major tools from Mingos just on a face check here, just on clearing that vision out.
Yeah, that's going to make taking this dragon in a 5v5 really difficult for Mingos. Those 2 abilities on Alistar are pretty key for their team fight.
I think he looks for steal and chill here. So Adam Suki, actually, they're going to 5v5. They're going to take it. He will engage on a Condorex, and the focus is Starpwner here. Can he stay alive? Can he sustain? Can he pop the ulti? He will dash. He's ulting. He's healing a ton, but will he drop? He finally goes down. And now Seraphine and Cyan are alive, but their teammates have all fallen. So far, it's a 1-for-3 here. Can these 2 members fight against these low HP bars? Are they looking to steal Drake? Seraphine could be compromised shortly as Nathaniel Lanier will drop. And that's Starpwner. I thought that guy died a minute ago, but he's alive.
Yeah.
And that means there is a Drake take for Kent State. I swear I saw...
Nope, he never went down
No?
in the fight. He ultied. I think he saved himself with the W and made it out alive. And now Starpwner 5-1, 2 items, maybe picking up boots here. I can't tell.
He has leather boots.
Okay, he has leather boots. So, I mean, man, he is already in great shape for this game.
Yeah.
Up an entire item on this Zaya, and we're getting to that point where it's going to be really difficult. If KSU plays it right, they could definitely close this game out sooner rather than later. Obviously, the longer they let this game go, the harder time they'll have, but they are very, very far ahead right now. We're looking at about a, what is that, 5 almost
something?
6K gold lead, and up a dragon as well as a ton of kills. So I think if they start grouping and making the right plays, they could start to whittle down the forces of Mingos and start to break open base and look to take the victory.
Definitely. They need to keep the pressure up, and I'm sure they will. My question is, with Drake spawning in 4 minutes and Baron coming up in 20 seconds, are you going to look to play Baron for Kent State? As we see, Kenny could possibly be caught out, but Lysandra hard champion to kill. We see the answer by Condorex, followed by the ulti by Heckram, which was followed by the ulti by the delivery man, but nothing to come from that skirmish. Just a couple R buttons smashed here in the mid lane. And yeah, my question is, does Kent State look for Drake before, or I'm sorry, look for Baron before Drake number 4. When it's 20 minutes, it's
I
always a question, right, Try? And most teams will just look to play around Drake. So
I think they're far enough ahead that you do want to look for that Baron. I think that a lot of times when you're talking about in this competitive setting, you want to take the safe route, but at the same time, you are really far ahead. Can you go to Baron and either take it or force a fight at this point in the game? I mean, I think they can.
we see a 3v2. Mingo's jumping on Starponer's face. Can he sustain this? There goes the ulti. Look at that healing. It's kind of ridiculous, but he will go down. Shut down to Adam Suki on the Hecarim, and now Kenny could find himself out of position. Alistar goes in, but the team is calling it off. The team is saying, we will take that shutdown every day, and they will walk away with some half HP bars and a great play from Mingos there. Taking that 3v2, all they need is a few seconds, and the healing looked insanely scary on Samira.
It did. I think that the Lissandra TP was a few seconds too late. If she had gotten there earlier, you never know how that could have turned out. Not Lissandra's fault. The play happened pretty quickly. And,
For sure.
Of course, to respond immediately can be difficult depending on what she's doing, what she's focusing on, how her lane looked. Was she in base? I don't know where she came from, but a good attempt, and unfortunately didn't get there quick enough.
Yeah, and if you were going to say what are Mingo's steps to getting back in this game, I would say Hecarim killing Samira would probably be step 1. It's got to be best case 1 for 0 for Mingos here, and Baron does not look like anything Kent State wants to play for before Drake number 4. So this 4th Drake, the question is, does Mingos even it up, or does Kent State get on sole point? The bigger question could be if they 5v5, who wins that fight, right?
Yeah,
Because you could see multiple shutdowns in the event that Mingos win the fight and get Drake. It's multiple shutdowns and evened up, and this game would be back to about 50-50, if not 60-40, maybe Kent State.
If they're looking to win a team fight, they need to take down Starponer, but easier said than done. I think they're going to have difficulty getting on top of him, staying on top of him, and having enough damage to kill him in a 5v5. As we saw there, Suki had a good play down bot 2v3 and was able to take down Samira, but it's hard. I mean, I don't know. Do they need to look for a pick before they can fight? I think if they fight front to back, the delivery man, the Moosinator, they're too big. It's going to be hard to get through them onto the Samira with their ultis up, with Kenny ulti up, with Kondarex ulti up. It's really, really difficult.
Yeah, it seems like Kent State has been setting the pace and making the first move, the first initiation. They kind of have more direct engage tools between Malphite and Rel, right? So when Kent State is pulling the trigger, it has looked pretty good for them. So I like your questioning, and is Mingos going to be the aggressors, the starters of the team fight, and the initiators? And if that's the case, can they also manage to get on Samira? Those are two big questions. We're going to have to see how it plays out. Drake up in about 10 seconds. And Seraphine has flash, and that's huge because Seraphine has not been able to participate in this game pretty much, and her being alive for a fight could make the difference, but she'll have to use her flash probably on Malphite ulti if I had to guess. And coming in, this Tribrush solo could be risky as well. Here we see the Drake is started up by Kent State University. They're pulling members into their vicinity so they could maybe look for and engage. I'm looking at Drake's HP bar, watching the junglers here, the delivery man.
Hecarim ulting, or
Cyan ulti's in the delivery man with a nice 3-man responded by the Hecarim ulti. It's going to be a front to back. I lost track of Starponer. He's off the screen killing some Seraphine. That's not good. Starponer's probably going to go crazy here as they already pick up 2 kills, and the front to back easily goes to the side of Kent State. I did not see what Starponer did to kill Seraphine, but that cannot happen.
Yeah.
Seraphine cannot be alone trying to get through Tribrush against Kent State, simply put.
I don't know what their intentions were with Seraphine going around into Tri instead of fighting with her team on the other side of Dragon Pit. I think that was a big misplay. I don't know, was she trying to go for a flank? Maybe she can get a big ulti, surprise ulti off or something, and they sussed it out. They saw her on a ward or something, but I'm not entirely sure. But it just did not work out how they intended it to.
Yeah.
And now it's looking really tough. I mean, man, we're at 200 CS, 6-2 and 6 on the Samira. 2 items, boots. I don't even know how much gold she has now, but probably heading back to base to get another chunk of something, coming back even stronger.
Runes,
and
maybe?
Now I think they want to start looking for this Baron.
Samira could pick up Grievous Wounds right here. No, will opt into the BF. And now she could, if she were to have Grievous, she could be a solo
Oh, and would you
threat
look at
unit.
that? I forgot. We got the spicy setup here on production. And yeah, so picking up, looking for
Infinity
IE
Edge?
now. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, unless, oh, wait. It could be Bloodthirster. I think Bloodthirster has a cloak in it nowadays, and I think
Okay.
that could be Samira's third item. I
That
would have liked to see Grievous. It just increases the chances that if you ditch your team and go for that
That you
dashy
still
pentakill,
get it.
that you can
Yeah.
actually get through on the kills. But we've seen Engage in the mid lane.
Oh, no.
Seraphine has no flash. She is just bread and butter for Kent State's playmakers here. Chandler Clark forced the flash away, but the Malphite ulti and no Xayah ulti means that she is dead, and Kent State are just closing the curtain in this game, play after play.
And here comes the Baron. It's going to be free for them. That maybe Hecarim can look for the steal, but honestly, I don't know there's much they could do even if they get the steal. They've got 2 members down. Will he even survive off of a steal? He's wrapping around looking for this.
Yeah, and Kent State need.
Oh, and he doesn't make it over.
That's really rough. That's a feels bad. I'm not sure what else to say. Even if you ulti in the pit, it would have been up to Kent State to DPS the Hecarim, not the Baron. I think is at 2K, 2,500 when he
Yeah.
did that. So it would have been a test of Kent State's patience to DPS Hecarim only. But yeah, it just looks like a desperate play. But you can't blame the man for getting desperate.
I feel for Nick here in the mid lane. These games feel real bad. You know, all you're trying to do is catch up and stay relevant, but you get picked as a mid laner pushing up too far like that, getting taken down by what I think it was a 3v1 at the time in the mid lane. And oh man, I know how that feels. It's really rough, and doing the best they can. But it looks like at this point, I want to say, you know, the seal has been. They sealed the coffin at this point, and I think we're going to be going to game 3. You know, Caster Curse, though. I may be speaking too soon. Mingos might come back here, but, you know, I'm not complaining because you know what we love here at LSS.
Game 3s, baby.
Game 3, baby.
That's where the men are separated from the boys in that game
that
3.
Wow.
Yeah.
Philosophical words there,
I mean,
my man.
it's just the reality I see. There's no other way to put it when you talk about Game 3's League of Legends.
Yes, definitely.
Can't get more hype. But, yeah, I think the only way Mingos wins this, in my opinion, is you give Soul, because if you fight again, you just die, and then you can steal Elder and fight. So you make it an Elder game.
Yeah.
And you go in with the Hecarim R, you try and steal it, and if you do, you maybe have like a 20-30% chance of stealing it. That's probably better than your odds that you have right now in this board state. And another thing I should say, we talked about the risk reward of playing Baron right at 20 minutes. Kent State, their patience paid off. They didn't have to play Baron at 20. They just played for Drake. They won that fight, made it even easier to get Baron after Drake 4 went down. And you can see kind of the classic play working for Kent State because they're just executing far better.
So, Dragon up in 40. It seems like, I just feel like there's like, I mean, I know they're clearing here. They're looking for the soul, but why not use this Baron to be split and applying more pressure? They do, I know their team is so much stronger in the 5v5, but, you know, they're spending a lot of time hanging out in River right now.
Yeah, it's when you have Baron, it's always a question of Baron efficiency versus taking Drake, right? You could have Baron in 3 lanes pressuring and still grab Drake. But this 5v5 setup could reward them if Mingos decides to contest. I think Mingos should want them to have this soul so that Elder spawns in 5 minutes because that's your only shot back into the game. But they will look to contest, and they're going to have to fight through Star Poner and the gang here as they're over the wall. Kenny will go in with the engage onto only Rascal Dog, who will ulti. Seraphine's in a better spot this time, and a beautiful knock-up. A huge Seraphine ulti. This could be Mingos if I've ever seen it, but no.
Star Poner in the back just going to town.
Star Poner, and he dives in. Here's where he might need Grievous, but there's the double. There's the triple. The reset's coming in. That looks like a Katarina with a gun there. And Star Poner, I think, just closing the curtain in this game, ending the deal. I'm not sure if they rush end here, but it is looking grim for Mingos.
This man is a maniac on the Samira. They cannot let it get through Champion Select. We've seen it time and time again. I'm not going to lie. Samira has to be one of Star Poner's top 3 champions that he's played on in our series.
Easily.
He is absolutely amazing on it. I wonder if we could look back and find a game that he's lost on the Samira pick. I don't even know if there is one.
It'd be hard to find.
Realistically, I don't know if Star Poner has lost a game in the LSS on Samira. Chat, if you guys know, if anybody from Kent State is in the chat and they know,
Good
let
luck
us
finding
know.
that.
And if nobody has the answers, I bet that they'll be answered in our interview with Holy Boxers if KSU takes this game or takes game 3.
And
but we'll see.
this game and game 3.
Dude, am I just biased and terrible for thinking that this game is over? Because, man,
You're just terrible.
I am just the worst. Caster
No,
bias up here, but I mean, I'm looking at the scoreboard. I'm looking at the gold difference. I'm looking at the objective difference, and it just looks like a for sure guaranteed game for Kent State. They really have to mess it up to lose this one.
Are we not all biased, Try?
I guess we
It's
are.
one of our fundamental flaws.
Yes, as a human.
As human beings.
Yep,
So,
yep.
shame on you.
So, I mean, look at this. 272 farm, 11-2-7 on Star Poner here. And as I'm just covering that, look at the rest of the team. 8-0-11 on this Malphite, 3-0-14 on Kenny. These guys are just so beefed up right now.
And I love this about best of threes. Kent State did not have to go to their go-to bot lane duo. They went with the Philios Thresh, and that was scary enough to where Mingos, whoever's doing pick ban, they're not going to randomly ban Samira round 1, even though we might know he's good on the champ. It's just too much to respect. So Kent State showing that they're not going to have to go to their A play, their number 1 play in game 1. They can pull it out in game 2 and force a game 3 where they have the momentum. And the Samir pick is going to probably have to be banned. Sign ulti, a lightweight engage, just a bit of a look.
Yeah, maybe if he got something good there, they could be set up. But, I mean, I don't know. So take this time real quick to kind of break this down. Do you think there's a way for Mingos to come back in this game? Obviously, if they want to fight and got, Baron or Elder, that's their chance. But can they even take a fight from Kent State at this point?
No, they can't fight. There's probably 2 schools of thought. One would be go for Baron steal and flip the game. And that is maybe a 20-80 or a 10-90 play. But you could also say give Baron, wave clear, protect base, and go to steal Elder. If you steal Elder, that is your only shot in hell of beating these guys in a team fight. And so that you can maybe get your chances up in the 20s again with that line of play. So, but that would involve giving a Baron. You can look to, make picks in the side lane as we see Nathaniel Lanier. I think Moose actually wins this over time with the Riftmaker healing.
Oh, man.
So
Burning the flash on Scion there. It's a good look, though. Nathaniel doing what he can to try and get them back in this game. If he got the pick there, maybe they could group up and take this fight 4v5 or even go for the Baron. Good attempt there. Doing what they can to try and make their way back into this game.
yeah, so maybe if Kent State's going Baron, you could send multiple members to Mordekaiser here and look to get that pick. And that way you're actually getting something for the trade of Baron, as we see Seraphine lined up ready to match the Mordekaiser. But I don't think you can test Baron. I don't think you can walk into your own blue jungle. I think it's going to come down to Elder. Now, here's the thing. If Kent State doesn't get Baron in the next, minute, which I think they will, you can, while the enemy team is Baroning, you can set up a trap at Elder. So a pink ward or 2 where the entire team stacks in a brush, knowing that when Baron goes down, they're going to go Elder next, and you attack them with a trap. But if the timers are too, what's it called, staggered, then that play wouldn't be possible.
Okay. So
But Kent State's not killing Baron. They're just not taking Baron.
I wonder if they're waiting to. So
They could, yeah.
They wait this 1 minute and 45 seconds for Elder, and now they pretty much get one or the other, if not both.
They want both. They want to go. Maybe they take it when it's 30 seconds, so you go Baron, then Elder into end, because you can't stop a Baron and Elder. But then again, that opens you up for that trap I was talking about. But still, you win that. Even if you face check, you still win as Kent State. So, yeah, I do think they're going to get the timers a bit closer so that they can have both buffs. There's no world in Kent State's eyes that Mingos ever gets Elder.
Yeah.
They're banking on that to be their closing win condition. And all the while, they're just choking them out of pressure. There is no pressure. There is no blue vision past River at this point. And
Yeah. And Kent State still playing it slow and calculated, not making any mistakes, even though they're this far ahead. They're not getting cocky at all. They know what needs to be done to close this game out, and they're trying to play it to a T.
it might be a bit late. I don't love Kent State's call here to have Barron be on the mat for that long when you have this much control and just not take it. If Barron is a non-factor and it's all about Elder, you could have that buff and that advantage, and now you're just taking a heads-up 5v5. Yes, it's in your favor, but again, the Elder steal the only way Mingos can come back in this game. So Barron not even being a factor, I think, is good for Mingos here.
Okay. Like you're saying, if they steal this Elder here and then win the fight off of that, they could go and get Barron and close the game out.
Yeah, Barron should be off
Rather
the
than-
map and on Kent State right now, in my opinion. But here we go. Scion we see on the top half of the map, but has TP. With the speed of the engage from Kent State, he might want to consider an early TP, but it could be steal and chill for Hecarim. We're watching Adam Suki here. Gonna look for the smite steal. Otherwise, you can call it Kent State match win. He goes around. He's going in a bit early because it's at 3K. They need to kill Hecarim and not the Elder. Hecarim and not the Elder here. The damage going down. He will drop, and that is Elder buff going over to Kent State. Rascal Dog doing what he can as Alice Star, but great job by Kent State to go ahead and focus. But now we see the trade coming in, which is another risk you take. Imagine they had stolen Elder and gotten Baron with the recalls. I think this was a bit shaky from Kent State, but the gold lead at the end of the day and Hecarim going a bit early means that it's Elder buff versus Baron buff.
I think that's still going to go down here. I don't think they can defend the 4v3. That's still 20 seconds.
Once their minions
Suki
spawn,
and,
but they have
Rascal Dog.
Baron minions here. Baron minions are pretty tricky to siege into. We see Delivery Man will go in for a 2-man. That's Kenny with the follow-up. They're just going to take the base with the fight. A big engage. That's Star Proner going in for another double before you could even blink.
Oh my God. Did you see Star Poner there just absolutely delete Zaya? I didn't even see the health bar go down. I just saw it disappear.
And that is the gold lead and the Elder buff coming through for Kent State. Although they could have gotten Baron, they proved to us they do not need Baron whatsoever to win this game. So I guess we can't fault them for their prioritization because they got what matters and they went and took the Nexus, forcing a Game 3 against Mingos here.